Ranger fans, welcome back to another Midweek Coaches Show. We've got a lot of great things going on. Even though school's winding down, some of our sports are ramping up. 2 teams in playoffs, 2 teams headed to their state competitions. So let's start with track. Last weekend, track headed to Heroes Stadium to the regional meet. The girls ended up winning the regional championship. The most girls with the highest scoring points. Boys came in runner-up at regionals, which is unheard of. We're so proud of both of those teams. They'll head to state next week. We're going to take 17 athletes who have qualified in 10 different events. I haven't checked the record books, but that's got to be the most we've ever taken. We're going to get with Coach Jones next week and get a rundown and a little bit deeper look into who those athletes are, what events they're going in before they head to UT to the regional meet. Softball, if you didn't get to catch softball this past weekend, they participated in the first round of playoffs against Leander Glenn. Friday night, we drove out to Glenn, had a great game. Unfortunately, it didn't go the Rangers' way. So Saturday morning, woke up, came in for game 2. Bottom of the 7th inning, Zoe Allison hits a walk-off grand slam to win it. Still gives me chills. One of the best innings to a softball game I've ever seen. So the girls took about a 30-minute break, came back for game 3, and really just took control from the beginning. SV ended up winning, so won the series 2-1, moving into the second round of playoffs. We'll have some details for that. We'll have some details about that for you when we get back. And baseball starting their playoff run. So they finished up district with Piper on Saturday. The game actually started on Friday and then got rained out. Run ruled Piper 12-1. Great way to finish district, head into the playoffs. They'll face Hayes. Buda Hayes, first round. We'll have some details on that when we come back. And then we've also got golf, who has had a couple weeks off from regionals. But again, our boys team is qualified for state. Sayers Allen on the girls' side brought home second place, so she'll be participating in state. So even though school's winding down, we've got some sports that are really in the heart of playoffs. And we will be back in a little bit to talk to you about where you can find them. Right now, we're going to head to Coach Hill to talk about the bond coming up and also to hear a little bit about how spring football's going.
Thanks, Coach Miller, and congratulations to our athletes on all the successes they've had over the last week. And, here we are midweek of the first week of May, and this Saturday, the Comal ISD, which Smithson Valley High is a part of, has a big bond election. And we hope that you'll get out Saturday. If you hadn't already early voted, we hope you'll get out Saturday and go vote at one of these locations that you're seeing on the screen here. And Proposition A, B, and C, and of course there's some nice and neat things for Smithson Valley Athletics that we've talked about before. So as we always say, we won't tell you how to vote, but we hope you'll get out on Saturday and vote. In this middle segment of the show each week, we typically bring in a coach, head coach of a sport that's ongoing, and kind of get an update from them on how the season's been going, what's ahead, and that sort of thing. We've kind of gone through the roster, so to speak, kind of gone through the gamut. We've hit every sport. We obviously still have some sports ongoing, track and golf, and of course baseball and softball. But another sport that is now restarting is football. We've got spring training football going on. We're about a week and a half into it now, and a good time to give an update on that. The UIL permits spring training for 5A and 6A schools. And the way it's structured is you get a 34-day window. You get 34 days to get in 18 practices. However you choose to do that. They don't have to be sequential. You can take days off, but you get 18 practices in 34 days. And at the day of this taping of this show on Wednesday, we are in day 5. And we've been in full pads now for a couple of days. So far so good. We've got a lot of question marks like you do every year. You lose good seniors. We of course had a 12-2 season a year ago. Obviously we had to have great senior players and leadership or we wouldn't have achieved that. But this group has similar high hopes, and it's always neat this time of year to see older kids stepping into leadership roles as well as improving their level of play. And on the flip side of that, it's also neat to see younger players coming up off the JV or the freshman team, or maybe from a backup role to a starting role, or just take about 18 practices to get a feel for what this team is. Some schools opt not to have spring training. If you choose not to have spring training, the UIL permits you to start a week earlier in the fall. You can actually begin a week, the first week of August. Those who take spring ball, like us, I think they operate under the belief that a month's worth of practice in April and May tells you more about your team and you have an idea of when and where and who to start with in the fall. So some schools don't have it. We do. We've kind of gone back and forth on that. This is the second year of resuming spring training, and been pleased with our players so far. We've obviously got a long way to go. Anytime you restart something, it's a little rough. Sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We've certainly seen our share of that, but really feel good about our guys. And of course, we've got some notable players coming back. I mean, some guys who were honored for their on the field play. You know, Jackson Maynard comes to mind in our defensive front. You know, we've certainly got a few guys back there, but he and Dylan Goss coming back at that position. You know, at our cornerback position, you got Jackson Duffy and Zach Ginrich, you know, 2 starters, 2 all-district players from a year ago. You know, certainly there are guys that stand out. Nicholas Dudzikowski was a first-team all-district player at linebacker last year. So those guys on the defensive side, we're going to have others around them, but you know they're the ones setting the pace right now. And our kicker and punter Clay Amaya, he was both all-district kicker and an all-district punter, and I think he was 2nd or 3rd team all-state as a kicker, getting a lot of college attention. He's a weapon, and we have him back for another year. And you flip over to the offensive side, you know, we've got a couple of kids back over there that had big roles for us. You know, up front, Will Mack, you know, was a starter for us all 14 games last year at right guard, and of course he's a returner. And then we've got some other guys who had pretty significant roles a year ago as well. Gavin Garcia, Reese Anderson, Jeremiah Jenkins, guys like that who are kind of leading the way up front. And Cade Spradlin, a starter on defense at linebacker last year, is playing a little tailback and quarterback for us right now. And Rylan Walker at quarterback, Brad Soursby at fullback. You know, those are guys who are returners. And at our receiver position, you know, we've lost some kids, but we're going to welcome back Freddie Dubose. You know, had such a great season going last year and injured his knee, and he's back on a limited basis right now. And so, you know, we do have some players back. We're excited about the progress. It's going to be neat to see how we continue to improve as the spring goes. And to that end, a lot of our community wants to see what's going on. Well, the next 2 Saturdays present opportunities for the public and parents and fans to come out into the stadium and watch some inter-squad scrimmages. This Saturday, May 6th, and the following Saturday, May 13th, we have Saturday morning scrimmages in the stadium, and the public is welcome. We will begin at 8 a.m. on both of those days, so we hope to see you here this Saturday at 8. We'll have rosters for you, so you'll know who the blue shirts are and who the white shirts are, and you can kind of watch what's going on, nice and cool in the morning. We'll go about an hour and a half, 2 hours each of the next 2 Saturdays, and we hope you'll come out. And then whenever you're through, you know, 9:30, 10 o'clock, if you hadn't voted already, it'd be a nice time just to leave the stadium and head to one of those polling sites and vote for the Comal ISD bond. So we hope to see you Saturday, and go Rangers.
Moving into this week, our softball team is headed to the 2nd round of playoffs. They are going to face Southside High School. So you can find them here Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We encourage you to come out. The game is here at Smithson Valley. We've got home field advantage. We really want to take advantage of that. Game 2 will be Friday at Southside High School, again at 7 o'clock. If there's a Game 3 needed, it's going to be back here at Smithson Valley at 2 o'clock on Saturday. So if we get to that Saturday game, we would love to pack that field. Another Game 3 must win for the Rangers. But just keep following social media. We'll keep you updated with how they do Thursday, how they do Friday, whether there's a game needed on Saturday or not. Kind of the same situation for baseball. Finished off 2nd seed in district. They're moving into playoffs. They're going to start with Hayes High School out of Buda. Their schedule Thursday, they will head to Hayes. So Thursday you can catch them at 7 o'clock at Hayes High School. Friday they'll come back here at 7 o'clock at University of the Incarnate Word. So that is the university, not the high school. Friday at 7. If they need a Game 3, it will also be Saturday, but it will be at 11:30 at Dripping Springs High School. So again, stay tuned to our social media. We'll keep you updated with whether those Game 3s will happen. We'll have results from Game 1, Game 2. But if you can get out, support those kids. We really want to take advantage of that home field advantage. So softball will be here Thursday night, baseball will be at Incarnate Word Friday night. You can actually make both. We'd love to see you guys there. Moving into track, they head next Friday and Saturday, the 12th and 13th, to UT for the state meet. As I said, we'll hear a little bit more next week from Coach Jones, a little bit in depth, what events, what kids are competing. But we wish them nothing but luck. We'll have a great send-off for them next week before they leave to state. And then golf will go to state in a couple weeks, so we'll talk about them maybe with Coach Poppy a little bit later. But we just want to invite you to come out to softball Thursday, baseball on Friday, support these kids. They've worked so hard. We wish everyone a wonderful end of the year. And as always, go Rangers.